Hey everyone, Eric here. In this video, we're going to be upgrading my Squier Classic Vibe Jazzmaster with a new harness from Gunstreet wiring shop. So if you've been following the channel, you might have seen this guitar before. I unboxed it a few months back, and then it actually was in dire need of a lot of work. So I made a couple videos about it already, unboxing it, and then also setting it up to get, working perfectly and staying in tune, playing nice. It's a great guitar. It's a really affordable guitar. This is the most affordable Jazzmaster that left-handed guitar players in specific have access to. This is my first proper Jazzmaster with, made by Fender Squier. My other Jazzmaster is a parts build. And I got this because, again, it's like the most affordable Jazzmaster that us lefties have access to. So I wanted to check it out, see what it was about. I was a little disappointed with how it arrived to me, but after I got it playing nicely, intonated, set up and everything, it's a really nice instrument and I definitely recommend it to people. So I've been playing it over the past couple months, just stock, I haven't done anything to the electronics. It's the same three-way selector, same pickups, the stock pickups, rhythm circuit, everything's the same. Everything's stock on it, but now I'm getting a little bit curious. I want to step out of the stock realm and I hit up my buddy Sean from Gunstreet Wiring Shop. Sean is great, and he sent over this, which is a new wiring harness with Bourne's pots. It's again a stock wiring harness, so it's got the normal rhythm circuit, and he sent over some instructions too. But I just wanted to document upgrading this. So what I'm going to do is, take the strings off. I'll film all this, of course, and I'll talk to you along the way, but we're going to take the strings off, change the wiring, but I also think I want to change these pickups because these are the stock pickups. They're really loud pickups, but I have a couple other sets of Jazzmaster pickups that I think I might want to try in this. I have a set of wide range humbuckers in a Jazzmaster casing, and then I also have a traditional set of Brandon wound, just the normal Jazzmaster set, the traditional Jazzmaster set that Brandon wound makes. So I have those two options. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna pick yet, but that's my idea. We're gonna change out the pickups, we're gonna change out the wiring harness to be a little bit more tidy because the wiring in here is not tidy. and not that that makes a sound difference, but I also do wanna record a couple clips like before and after just to, check out the differences if there are any. Before we get started, I want to send a gigantic thank you to all of you who are watching right now, all of you who subscribe to the channel, but also my supporters, my Patreon fam over on Patreon. That's why they're my Patreon fam. Anyway, I really appreciate all the support and I cannot thank you enough. I just want to send a huge thank you. If you'd like to learn more, I'll have a link in the description below. So let's go ahead and get to the before clip of this stock Classic Vibe Jazzmaster. So first things first, we're going to take all the pickguard screws out of the body that attaches the pickguard onto the body. And then we're going to move on to the screws that attach the roller pots and the rhythm circuit switch to the pickguard so we can remove those. And now we're going to remove the knobs from the top of the potentiometers. And the easy way to do this is use a rag or a cloth of some sort so you're not going to hurt the pickguard, you're not going to crack the knob or damage anything while you're doing this process. And then of course we're going to move on to loosening the bolts that hold the potentiometers for the volume and tone and the output jack onto the pickguard. And lastly, we're going to move on to the pickups because I will be replacing them in this process. In case you haven't used a Jazzmaster. The pickups are held on with these screws, and the way you raise and lower them, the way it stays up in the air, is these pieces of foam lay under the pickups, and then you screw them down. So one thing I thought that was interesting was I just popped off the cover to this stock pickup. So to my surprise, kind of, it is actually wound and constructed like a traditional Jazzmaster pickup. Now this is a Brandon wound traditional, I think it's a black bobbin era, so it's nice and thin and very wide. Now this isn't wound as wide. It's probably not using the same materials at all, but it is constructed the same way a traditional Jazzmaster pickup would be. So now we have the body gutted. We've got this pickguard, and now I'm going to go ahead and finitely shield this whole pickguard. Honestly, for my own enjoyment, it's kind of cathartic for me. I've been enjoying the process of shielding pick guards and body cavities. The Squier already has shield paint in its cavities, so I'm only going to shield the pick guard, but I'm going to shield all of the pick guard. Okay, everyone, so we had a little bit of an issue, kind of. I got sidetracked. What I did was I shielded the inside of the body cavity because I was finding that I wasn't getting connectivity, continuity across all the different grounds in the cavity with my multimeter. So this video has turned into 2 videos and the other video is about how to shield guitars, specifically this Jazzmaster right here. So I'm gonna leave a card above to link to that video. So if you wanna learn more about shielding your own guitar and fighting noise, that's a good video for you to watch. We've got the new pickups installed. Now these again are wide range humbuckers and a Jazzmaster housing from Gemini Pickups. We've got a 4 conductor wire, but I'm only going to be using 2. So I've taped these off. Here's my hot right here. Here's ground. And with every Gunstreet harness, you get a super simple set of instructions. You don't need to know what all the wiring does because Sean has made it really easy for you to just hook up to specific spots with your pickups and then you're done. So that's what we're gonna do right now. They make it really easy because, you know, we can look at this. All we have to do is connect a couple wires. We have to connect the hot and the ground of both pickups, the neck and the bridge. This is gonna be the neck, which is routed to the switch, which is, let's see, right here. And then all we're doing is we're routing the bridge hot to the switch, which is, hope you can see that, right there. And then from there, after that, all we have to do is route the grounds. We connect both grounds to the ground bus of everything. But what I'm actually going to do, well, I'm not going to talk about that. I'll get to that here in a sec. But first what we have to do is disassemble this nicely laid out package right here and put it in our pick guard. Now we have to take these roller knobs off, and these roller knobs are connected to the pots with a little Allen key right here. It's 1.5 millimeter Allen key, FYI. There we go. Now we can put this in the pick guard. I will first put the switch in. I'm going to go ahead and take out all of the screws because the rhythm circuit bar right here has to mount with these 2 screws, and then the switch has to mount with these 2 screws right here. Taking the screws out. So while we're doing this here, I would love to know in the comments below if you have upgraded your wiring harness on any of your guitars. And you know, like, what did you go with? Did you go with Gunstreet or did you go with a different company? Also, what guitar did you upgrade? I've got Gunstreet wiring harnesses in, I think, 4 of my guitars now. And I just love Gunstreet because Sean is a great dude. He's also a supporter on Patreon, which I really appreciate. I cannot thank you, Sean, enough for that. And everyone who supports on Patreon. So I just really appreciate it. And I honestly can't believe it sometimes that people support. It means the world. So I'm noticing that the bar is sat pretty low. Or I'm sorry, the bar is sticking up quite a bit higher than the stock one, so it might be difficult for me to roll these wheels. I'm just gonna go ahead and run with this. That fix would be as easy as taking the bar off the stock harness and putting it on this one. This style of harness, the Jazzmaster harness, is more intensive than just about any other harness that you would be working with, meaning there's a lot of wire in here, there's a lot of parts. It is an unusual wiring harness, so if you've got like a Strat or a Tele, your installation will be not incredibly different, but definitely more streamlined than this harness specifically. Using this, not using the proper tools, makes it incredibly easy to scratch pickguard or scratch your guitar. So, I mean, I don't have a specific tool to tighten this round nut right here. So I'm just using my pliers. There we go. I slipped a little bit. But yeah, I'm just making sure to be very, very careful. One thing I totally forgot. I'm taking out this stuff first. I'm gonna put one of these nuts on each of these pots because the shaft of the pot right here is pretty tall. So I want to try and recess these into the body just a tiny bit so I don't have knobs that are sticking like way up off the body. It lowers the pots back into the body, or like into the pickguard. Now the pot shaft doesn't stick up quite as far outside of the pickguard, which means we're not going to have knobs that are way up in the air. Now we're going on to the output jack. Boom. Just like that. Now we just need to tighten these down, and we're almost there. One last time, if we look at our diagram here, we're showing that the neck pickup needs to connect to the switch up here, which is right there. The bridge pickup needs to connect to the switch down here, which is right under here. Pretty simple. We take our neck pickup out here, connect it right into the switch. So I flowed the tiny bit of tin solder on that joint, so it's going to hold in place while I get more solder. So now I'll flow all the solder, hold this in place. Now there is a tiny bit of overhang on that joint, which I'm going to clip off so it doesn't make any connection with another spot accidentally. All these wires have to live in here, so this might be a little bit long. This wire might be a little bit long for my preference, but we're just gonna, we're gonna run with it. What I'm doing is I'm now wrapping both grounds together because we have a chassis ground for the pickup and we have the coil ground. So that is what these are right here. I'm going to attach it to the back of this pot. Cool, so we've got the neck pickup done. And now we're gonna move to the bridge pickup. Bridge pickup needs to come over here and connect, because my hot wire and my ground wires are not long enough to get where they need to be. So I'm just trying to give them a little bit more slack. I don't want everything to be super tight in there. So now we have a little bit longer of a spread, so I can get the hot over here, and then the ground has plenty of connection to go to the pot. There we go. Bridge pickup right here. The hot wire is going to the switch right here, and then the ground will come over here, connect to the back of this pot. What I need to do is connect this wire to the back of this pot right here. This is the most difficult place to solder. You need a really hot iron for soldering to the back of pots. This last ground right here, which comes out of the body right there, this last ground has to come to the same point over here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to connect it to that same solder joint, because if I heat this up, the pressure that's pulling back on this wire is gonna detach that. So instead, I think I'm just gonna go a little bit farther over here to the far side of the pot. I'm just gonna connect it right there on the casing. Now I'm just heating up the solder to the casing. Now all we have to do is flip the pick guard back over. I'm gonna zoom out here. Flip the pick guard back over, make sure everything kind of fits down in the cavities. So that's another thing, is all this extra wire is really difficult to kind of stuff in the cavities sometimes. So if you have to make any modifications to the wire length, now would be a good time to figure that out. I think we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and screw this back in, at least on a couple spots, just so it doesn't fall off. Okay. So now, cool. We've got this volume, tone. Sweet. So volume and tone work. Middle position is this pickup and this pickup. Neck position is this pickup, not that one. So bridge, just bridge, no neck. Now we're in the rhythm circuit. There we go. We're wired up backwards. No bridge. Okay, cool. Looks like we're all wired up. So now we can put the strings back on it, put the knobs on it, and we're good. I hope you enjoyed this look at upgrading my Squier Classic Vibe Jazzmaster with the new Gunstreet wiring harness. If you would like to learn more about Gunstreet Wiring Shop, I'll leave a link in the description below. They make a lot of different stock harnesses, but also a lot of different custom stuff. So if you have something that you don't see on their website, or you don't see other guitars doing, but you would like your guitar to do, or bass, you can hit them up. I also want to send a huge thank you to Sean from Gunstreet Wiring Shop for sending over this harness. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Check out all the other gear demos and instructional videos that I have here. And if you want to follow me on a daily basis and interact with me a little bit more, you can always head on over to Instagram and follow me at Eric Merrow. One more time, I want to send a huge thank you to these folks right over here who are my executive producers for my Patreon page. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you in the next video.